So before we begin, I'd like us all to introduce ourselves to each other for the first time. We'll start with Jocko and...
Do you have to?
Yes.
Well, how much do we have to?
Just a bit. Like, enough so that everyone knows who they're playing with. To whatever extent you wish to reveal.
I'm Jocko, or Big Jocko, or just Jocko.
I like the Big Jocko.
The Big Jocko. I'm the Walt Disney of this world, the Hammond from Jurassic Park. What's his first name?
Mr.
John.
Yeah, John Hammond.
John Hammond. I'm a warlock. And I'm crazy.
And I'm crazy.
But I'm cool, and I'm calm and collected, too.
Great.
That's me.
Great. Kyle?
I'm still confused.
Like, you have to say a name people can call you that is a character's name.
Ember.
Amber?
Amber. With an E.
Emperor?
Oh, Ember. Cool. Anything else? They'll figure it out.
Do I have to say anything else?
No.
Okay, then.
We
I
got
don't want to
it.
be a stink about it.
I mean, in like 10 minutes we'll know who you are.
Well, I know. But,
Justin?
My name is Swiffer Wetmop, and I'm here to try to get rid of these stupid powers I didn't want in the first place. But hey, I'm just taking life as it comes. I'm sure this will be over soon with little to no complications.
Wonderful.
Little to no Jocko.
Allie.
Okay, Farrah. No last name. I'm elf rogue and lawful evil.
Nice.
Oh, jeez.
And last but not least,
My name is Stedman Graham.
cool.
I'm a human ranger. My cruise ship just sank, and I swam to shore. And have any of you seen my wife?
And with that,
That's great.
welcome to Adventerra. Here's the map that you get when you walk into Adventerra. Jocko welcomes you to Adventerra. As you see, the island is divided into two parts. Flora and Fauna is at the top. That's the nature reserve. It's broken up into three parts, as you can see with faint lines, but you don't know what that's about. The bottom is broken up into sections, as you can see. Everyone arrives via the JSS Jocko of the Deep, which is a large liner about 1,000 feet. You take the Pleasure Passage down the middle, and then the Dopa Zone. The Dopa Zone is where the attractions are. Magic can take you thousands of feet up into the air and bring you back down again, and that's also where the gladiator battles are. The Grandin de Jocko is where all of our guests stay at the resort, and also where the people who work there stay. The Pleasure Passage is where the shops are and everything else. You'll see a variety of them on your trip. El Spectaculo Spectacular, that's the area where the live performances are in the shows. A lot of magic, a lot of special effects, very wonderful. And then AquataMania is the aquatic area where you have your log rides, you have your Shamu-esque attractions. And through AquataMania is the only way to enter Flora Fauna. So you go to this end right here and take a small boat into Flora Fauna, but you can view all the creatures and all the magical things from a viewing portal right here. So all of you have arrived, except for one of you, like, fairly recently. Yeah, so for 6 months out of the year, Adventerra is the premier destination spot for families and those who love magic in all of its forms. It's a circular island, as you can see. It's about 15 miles long and 10 miles wide. So once again, the only accessible way is via this ship. The ship always enters from out here and comes in, and this is the only place where it docks. And that's the only place you get off and on the island. Stedman, let's say that even though your ship crashed, that's the way you came on too. Mm-hmm. So that's the way you access the island. A long single gate is what cuts this island in half. So this line separating it is one giant fence, basically. One giant, like, wooden fence, but it's durable and sturdy, and it's all interconnected. What's really noteworthy, though, as you all know, having come to Adventerra, are the creatures. They're not exactly full animal, but they're not exactly full human either. Think like Island of Dr. Moreau, like attentive and like listening, and you can like read their facial expressions, but they're still like very much animals.
I would like my character's first move to be to throw up upon stage, because it is way out of his comfort zone.
You've been here for a while, so don't worry though. So when you're in
where do the animals like hang out?
they all hang out in Flora Fauna.
Okay.
There's
They're, like,
nowhere
contained
else.
There.
Yeah, they're contained.
Okay.
And no one walks around in Flora Fauna. It's all like via what are called cowagas, which are giant covered wagons that take you anywhere on the island you want to go. They're driven by different people. So you won't be walking around Flora
Like the
Fauna.
monorail at Disneyland.
It's a little like the monorail. Think a mixture between that and like a safari where you're like in a like it can go
Like
anywhere
those
you
cars
want.
in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, not exactly like that. There's less
Like
plastic.
the Jungle Cruise?
Like they can be pierced. Yeah, it's like the Jungle Cruise.
Like Tom
almost
Sawyer Island?
I would say it's more like the Golden Horseshoe. But yeah, all these have a variety of different things for anyone who'd like to experience magic in all of its forms, and the Magicianeers have really like put forth years of development to get this all going. So, but we're at the end of our season now. This is one of the last few days out of the year that Adventerra is going to be open. So, what I'd like you all to do now is roll a d20, and I'll let you know what's happening.
Okay. We all roll at the same time?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
Everyone
Kyle.
else can roll. You can roll it at any time, and just let me know what it is.
I rolled a 9.
17.
14.
I got a 3.
13.
Cool. Awesome. So, it's about 9 a.m., the very last day of it being open. So, every day the JSS comes in. It's about a 3-hour trip to the shore, going either way. So, let's say probably about, like, 25 to 50 miles to the nearest island separately. So, this came in at 9 a.m., as it does every day, and it'll leave at 3 p.m. So, everyone has to leave at 3 p.m. today. That's how it goes. So, but before we do that...
Do employees leave too?
Yes, they do. Today's the day they leave.
So then the animals are completely unsupervised.
No, they have full-time Flora Fauna staff. If you work in Flora Fauna, that's different than being an employee in any other section.
Is there like some sort of circus where people stay overnight?
That paperwork would have had been filed a long time ago. So...
Do I have to leave?
Don't ask me. Ask your supervisor. But let's keep going for a little bit. So you start the day off, and each of you have a breakfast voucher, of course, being at Adventerra. All food is paid for, but there's only one place that's open because of restricted access. So you come to a point that's right here as you get off the ship. Most of you probably took the cowagas to come here because you're staying at the Le Grand Inn de Jocko. And as you approach it, it's probably about 2 stories high, decked out in all kinds of nautical gear. And you see, in bright words across it, the Jetty. This is our premier brunch spot. And one thing I want to point out, each of you has a map. And there are 3 coupons inside this map. So there's 20% off any food item. Buy 1 souvenir, get an extra souvenir free, but it has to be the same type of souvenir. And 1 free Jocko hat. And you can redeem those at any time. So the first person to enter the Jetty is Farrah. Farrah, what were you doing this morning?
Hanging out on a boat.
Did you just arrive?
I don't know.
I think
Am I leaving the park or am I entering the park?
You have to be leaving today, so you've been here for a while.
Oh. I'm trying to redeem my Jocko hat.
Okay.
I
So
want it right now.
so you enter the Jetty, and there's a small gnome woman who's sitting at kind of like a kiosk, And she's like, "Hi, how can I help you?"
Can I please redeem my one free Jocko hat?
"Oh, sure. Just hand that right over." "Yeah, I got a tub of them down here. What size do you think your hat is?"
What are the size options?
Small, medium, large."
Do medium.
"Okay, here you are." And she pulls out a bright blue hat that says, "We're all a little Jocko here." And it's Big Jocko's face doing kind of like a whoa. So you can write that down in your equipment as a thing you have.
Great.
Maybe you'll be a boomerang later or something.
And then you look at the menu of what to order. They have a breakfast buffet that you could do if you wanted, or there are several a la carte items that you could also get.
I'm skeptical of everything and don't order any food items.
Like, you got a free coupon for food you're not going to eat.
No.
Oh, come on, I make pancakes. You must like pancakes. You stay there, you sit down, I'm going to make you some pancakes. I will not take no for an answer. And as she's doing that and leaves to go make pancakes for you or put the order in, Stedman, you walk in. What are you doing?
I'm looking for my wife.
Okay, so when you walk in, there's the main entryway you walk through. Let's say that this is where the ordering is happening. And then there's a large dining room. There are probably about 10 tables. Like, let me use these. Each coin is a table. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, they're aesthetically put around. And
Larger family, smaller families.
yeah, I'm making a statement about fatness. So this is where you're ordering, and this is where you are right now. And you can see that there are about 3 tables that are populated. It's this quarter right here, this dime, and this penny. At this table is a family that's 2 parents, 1 male, 1 female, an orc family, and then 2 children who are kind of like punching each other a little bit. Here is a girl who's just like she's going over something in a notebook, and she looks kind of nervous, but she's really kind of focused. And then at this penny right here is a very old man who looks very curmudgeonly and is just looking very dourly at anyone who's looking in his direction. So if you look at him, he'll glower at you a little bit.
So what do you want me to do?
I thought you wanted to find your wife.
I do.
Do you want to talk to any of them?
No.
Ask them?
No, I sit down at this small dime.
Great. Wonderful way to look for your wife. Then afterwards, a fanfare plays from an unseen place and say, "All rise for Big Jocko." And the Adventerra national anthem plays. It's just a joke thing, but it's something akin to Adventerra, ha 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 ha. And Jocko walks in through the entrance.
I want that stumble to be canon now. The all rise for Big Jocko. That'd be a thing that since he's a gnome, everybody is constantly having to correct himself.
He's gained a lot of weight recently.
Big Jocko.
Like,
The big is my width.
cool. So, little Jocko, who's not big, you enter. What do you do when you see everyone standing? And they are standing.
Hey!
Well, surprise.
Is there anyone who's not standing?
Are you standing?
Sure.
Are
I'm
you
sitting.
I'm just
I don't know
looking
what's
around.
happening.
No sitters today. Good.
What do you do when you see Stedman actually sitting?
Oh, Stedman sitting?
Yeah. He said
Hey,
he's-
fuck you.
Do you do anything to him?
I don't do anything. I'm just like, oh, is there a reason you're sitting?
Don't take back some-
Stedman, what do you say?
I don't know where I am.
Oh. Do you need help?
Yes, have you seen my wife?
What does she look like?
She's about 5'6",
Hmm.
mocha skin,
Mm.
very iconic looking.
Iconic
Presidential.
chocolate-looking woman.
Oh my goodness.
You said mocha.
It's not the serious one.
Mocha? Wait, what color's mocha?
Like,
It's a dark brown, isn't it?
and
What
while
is
this
mocha?
conversation's happening, the man in this table over here is, Mr. Jocko, we don't have all day.
Who the hell are you?
Like, the man gets a tear in his eye and he says, it's me, Mr. Jocko. Glumbardo. Your loyal servant.
What are you talking about when I don't have all day? Fuck you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, see.
No, he's right. I need to learn.
This is what Caleb thinks dads are like.
Hey, like, what do you mean all day? Like, what, do I have a big plan today or something? What's going on?
Sir, it just seems to me that you're intimidating this man who's looking for his wife, was it?
I'm not intimidated. I'm just saying, where's this mocha woman?
And the man, the man was kind of yelling this, but he'd gotten up and walked to about halfway through the room. But he's come over and he says, "I'm very
Wait,
sorry."
stop. Crawl over. Bend down. Crawl over to me.
Roll a d20 for an intimidation.
Is this what Caleb thinks being a boss is about?
15.
Okay, he does it. Yeah. Glumbardo says,
I
"Not-"
put out my hand and let you up. Like, come on, get up. I'm sorry about that.
like, Mr. Jocko, could you?
What's the deal?
No, we just have a few things to talk about before the end of the day. So,
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah,
you'd like
yeah.
to go sit in the seat back in the corner where I was, I can help this man find. Sorry, the mocha woman.
Good plan. All right, I'm gonna sit down, and
I file a lawsuit against Adventerra.
And then the gnome woman who came back from the pancakes says, "Oh, Mr. Jocko, the usual."
Yep.
You heard him. All the smoked salmon we got. And she goes to the back. Do you go sit at
And some
that
hot
table?
chocolate. I'm in the mood for chocolate now.
And chocolate. Cool. So do you go sit at that table?
Yeah, I do.
Glumbardo comes up to you, Stedman, and he says, I can put you in contact to help look for your wife. Can you describe her one more time? I wasn't fully listening. I just heard the terrible phrase.
She's
I heard that 5'6" mocha skin.
of the African persuasion.
Oh, I get it now.
Stately, professional, someone you trust. Her hair changes all the time. Sometimes she's big, sometimes she's small.
Oh, I know.
Incredible shaking woman.
I get a perfect picture.
Good. Have you seen her?
No, I have not, but you know,
Oprah. You describing Oprah?
No.
The real Oprah?
Her name is something else.
It's kind of like the real Oprah, though.
Like,
Sometimes big,
but-
sometimes small.
but
Oh, by the way, this is what my character looks like. Just
Did you make him a creator?
Oh my god.
so
Wait,
So it was
Oprah's
you are
husband.
describing her.
I love that this is objectively the real Stedman in this situation. Like, okay, so, sir, have a seat here. We'll be putting you in contact with security. We're in fact going to be doing a drive around of the island in a bit. I think that would be the best way to help
okay.
find her if there's any chance.
Would you consider yourself mocha skinned?
You better answer.
It's okay.
Like, roll a d20 to see if you're intimidated.
I'm not trying to intimidate him.
9
Uh,
plus 1.
He doesn't have to be
10.
intimidated by me.
cool. I think you're intimidated, but you don't have to do anything.
Okay.
If you don't want
I'm just
to.
mildly offended.
I'm just messing with you. It's the last day. I don't care. I'm going to Puerto Vallarta or whatever.
the gnome woman comes to your table and brings you all the smoked salmon she has and a glass of hot chocolate. And
It's like, this is too hot.
ice cubes from Mr. Jocko. She runs back. Like, I'm working on the pancakes. But Glumbardo says, would you like anything free on the house? Of
No,
course.
I'm fine.
Like, well, if you change your mind.
I don't think that should be policy. It's not our fault he lost his wife. Is he getting the free food?
Like, oh, Mr. Jocko, you're joking. And Glumbardo walks back as this family here, like, didn't notice anything that happened because they're all fighting. And this girl who's sitting here very intently, she noticed, but it didn't seem to faze her in any way. So Glumbardo walks back with Mr. Jocko and says, sir, like, we have a few things to talk about before
Okay,
we-
go. Let's do it.
Okay, great. So, as you know, the separation from Darth the Maul is gone on quite well.
The what?
Well, as you remember, AquataMania, that used to be run by Darth the Maul, but
Oh,
we ousted him, and I think this new guy's going to be pretty great.
what's his name?
He's the famous wakeboarder, Krostolf.
Cool.
Yeah, he is pretty cool.
Cool.
But here's the thing. So we need to go to Flora Fauna to check out some of the last few things for today.
Okay.
But here's the thing. There's only one last tram going along today, and that's like a tour kind of thing.
Oh.
So
Should I wear disguise?
if you want to, if you're like,
I want everyone to see me.
great, then we'll hitch a ride on the next tour.
Okay.
And then as you eat your smoked salmon and hot chocolate, and Farrah waits for her pancakes, Swiffer walks in.
So, I walk in and I'm looking kind of forlorn. Like, I'm pretty depressed because I came to this island to find someone to help me control this fairly new magic to me, and I've been trying to get towards some of the more famous magic performers towards the end of their performances. And while I haven't done anything to make security kick me out, they're definitely aware of me.
and the woman who's the cashier at the restaurant says, "Sorry, I couldn't hear any of that. I'll be over to take your order in a minute."
Well, I'm saying that to myself. I'm setting up.
I can't hear you.
I say, okay.
And here are your pancakes. Okay, now what you want? What's your deal?
Well, I mean, you work here. Is there?
I do.
Do you ever meet any of the performers?
The performers, gee, no, I wish.
I want to meet one so bad.
Well, you know what? I got a little tip that if you wait at one of the tables right over here, maybe a magic boy will come along, or a girl.
Which table is it?
Oh, I would say this table right about here.
I walk over to that table because I'm willing to try anything.
Unseen to you, the gnome woman, just shakes her head, looking down and thinks well, maybe at least a good tip. And then finally, Ember, you walk in.
No, that's not how you respond. Hold on.
It's too late.
Why? What am I going there for?
You gotta eat. You got a free
I'm
food
hungry.
coupon. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So Ember walks in and I got a nice little picture here for you guys. Oops. Gotta full screen it. Full screen. Zoom.
Did you draw that?
Yes. So Ember walks in.
Ooh.
And she walks in just like that with her hands on her hood. She's like trying not to make eye contact with anyone. She's just like real, like that.
Yeah.
And walks up to the lady.
Hi there, darling. What do you want?
What's on the menu?
Well, we got, as you can see, chicken fried steak. We got
That
pancakes.
sounds perfect.
Chicken fried steak. Have a seat anywhere you like.
Okay, thanks. Describe who's at which table again?
So this is where Swiffer's sitting, looking very forlorn. This is where Stedman is. This
Right
is
here.
Oh, you're there?
Yeah.
Cool. That's where Stedman is. This is where the family of orcs is, and they're getting louder by the second. This is where the woman by herself is, just looking intently, and this is where Jocko and Glumbardo are.
Are there no open tables? Like
Yeah,
free?
this table, this table, this table, those are all open. And this
where's
one.
the front of the room and the back of the room?
This is the front.
That's like the door.
Yeah, and this would be like the back corner.
Yeah, she sits over there.
Great.
On an empty table.
Like, and the chef woman, because I can't keep an accent straight, because sometimes
That's
she's
fine,
Brooklyn and sometimes she's Southern, is like, well, we'll get it for you in a few minutes. Like, so there are 3 voices going.
She just says, yeah, thanks.
No. And great. So as soon as you sit down, though, the girl who's sitting at this table stands up and goes to the very front and says, okay, last tour leaving today in 5 minutes. Last tour of Adventerra leaving in 5 minutes.
What time of day is it? I forgot.
It's 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
And this is the last tour on the last day. Like,
Is that part of my schedule? Do I need to take that for transportation to somewhere else, or is that?
it's not part of your schedule technically, no.
Okay. All right.
So, last tour.
Well, I gotta go. Gotta go.
Have a-
Just-
I
Does no
take,
one-
I put all the salmon in the hot cocoa cup, and I take the cup with me.
The orc family walks up and says, yeah, we want to be on, we're going on the tour. And the little brother says, you're not the boss of me. And Jocko, whatever you were carrying, he runs right into your knee.
Oh.
And you drop it all.
Oh, man. Kid.
Like, he's like, I don't care about you. And he kicks you in the leg again.
Oh. Hey, I'm gonna go easy on you because you're a kid. I like flick him in the face.
The mom looks to you and says, what the fuck did you just do?
You're a woman, so I'm gonna go easy on you too. And I just like touch her chest.
The orc husband says, that's too far, Mr. Jocko.
You're a man, so I ain't going easy on you. I punch him in the face.
Okay, roll a d20.
Do I know him very well?
You don't know him personally. I don't. Well,
Have
like,
I, like seen him before?
yeah, like you'd have the relationship where you can like nod at each other if you wanted to do that.
19.
that like that breaks his cheekbone and it doesn't knock him out, but he's down on the ground saying like and the kids are around him just like, Dad, get up.
And Ember noticed this for sure.
Oh yeah, I think everyone noticed.
She kind of sits up a little bit. Just like,
Yeah, like, and the orc dad is trying to get up, but like he like is trying to stand but keeps on crumpling.
I take my shoe off and I put my foot like near his face and like sniff it. With my foot.
Can you roll for persuasion or intimidation, whichever works for you?
You're proficient in intimidation.
A 17.
He sips it, no question, and you don't even have to ask him to do like a big whiff, even though it, like hurts because he broke his cheek. Like he's like, oh, smells good.
Okay. I'm like, all right, you know what? I automatically regret this. What's my assistant's name again?
Glumbardo.
Get over here.
Like
Take
Glumbardo
this
was.
man to the hospital.
And the man gets up and he's like, no, I'm fine, we're going.
Oh,
And he
you want
looks
to go
at
on the
his-
tour? Is that why you're saying that?
No tour.
Oh, you're gonna leave.
No tour. Here are the tickets. Whoever wants them can have them. And
Oh,
he
cool.
and his orc family all run out.
Imagine having like a real encounter with Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And
Just like
Mike, stop! Don't go. And then Happy to say goodbye.
And then the woman at the front who's been saying, calling for the tour group said, well, it was only booked for a group of 4, and it looks like they just left, so come on a free tour, everybody, come on! And Glumbardo looks
Pick
around.
up these bloody tickets.
And Glumbardo looks at all of you and is like, please come on the tour.
Have I been on this tour before?
Let's say no, you haven't.
I'm like, are you guys going by the spectacular on this tour?
Yes, in fact, we go by everything, so.
I'll go on the tour, I guess.
Great, welcome. And your name is?
My name is Swiffer Wetmop.
Swiffer Wetmop. Welcome on. Just wait here for a little bit. Glumbardo comes up and he says to Stedman, like, this is the tour I was telling you about. This is going to take us all around the island. If your wife's here, she'll be on this tour.
Why are you whispering at that guy, man?
Nothing. Like, I got another goer, and the woman says, "Oh, great, wonderful! Like, glad to have you on." Yeah. And Glumbardo looks at Ember and is like, "You're an employee, right?
Yeah, she just nods.
Like, you gotta go."
Do I have work today?
What's the
Not
last
anymore.
day?
You don't.
No, and I said at OOC.
I don't think you have work today. I don't think there are too many more shows. And whoever has them has the last shift.
He said what? You gotta go.
Like, you gotta go. I'll pay you overtime. I know you're off the clock.
What food was I waiting for?
Chicken
You were
fried
waiting for chicken fried steak.
Yeah, I tell him that, like, I'm waiting for my chicken fried steak.
Like Dana and
Dana Carvey comes
like,
out.
and the woman says, "I got the chicken fried steak right here in the to-go box. Still waiting on your pancakes. Sorry."
steak. You gave them to me.
Oh, well, I was going to bring extra.
She's at dementia.
It's been a very hard day here. Like,
While you're dealing with this, I just silently take a ticket and get in line for the tour.
I'm like dropping knives on the tickets. Like I'm like,
like all the tickets are taken. Well, great. Welcome on board, everyone. Welcome to the tour. And the tour guide leads you all outside, and now we're in front of the jetty. None of this is here. But there's a big cowaga, which is the covered wagon that we talk about. And this will seat probably about 10 people, so it's full, but it's not, like, packed.
What's it made of?
It's made of wood, like, and it just has, like, a parchment covering. Think of, like, a covered wagon, except there's a material that's, like, see-through. Almost think like a plastic, but something that they could manufacture so that you can see out the sides. So that you can see the things.
And is
you
it
can
kind of
see.
just right out front of the
Yeah.
jetty?
Yeah. It's outside the jetty. And she says, "Okay, great. My name is Jane Lee, and I am going to be your tour guide. So today's the last day of Adventerra, as we all know. So sad to see it go, but it seems that we're still going to have some fun. So what I like to do with my groups is I like to play a game where we get to know who everyone is and what they're about. So I'll start. Let's say our names, our ages, where we're from, and if we could be anyone, who it would be. So, my name's Jane Lee. I'm 23. I am from the North Country, so if you were to take the JSS back, you just go up probably about 100 miles or so, and if I could be anybody, I would be my mom. How about you, sir? Who would you be?
I'm really not in the mood to play games.
Okay.
he's looking for a Mocha woman. Has anyone seen a Mocha
Like-
woman?
Jane Lee, roll a d20 for persuasion. Stedman, and I'm going to roll one too, where it's like, I think it'd be really fun.
4.
She's gonna persuade you.
Yeah, she got a natural 20. So, at least tell us your name and who you would be if you could be anyone.
My name is Stedman, and I'm happy being myself.
Isn't that sweet? We could all learn something from Stedman. Now, let's start with let's go next to the man of the hour, Mr. Jocko.
Woo!
I'm pretty excited.
We all.
Hey guys, I know you're excited. I'm just a normal person like you, though. Okay. Yeah.
So your name, Mr. Jocko? How old you
It's
are?
Jocko or Big Jocko. I'm 79.
Oh my god.
And fit as a fiddle.
If I could be anyone, I would be Jocko.
Isn't it so nice? We have two people who say they would be themselves if they could be anyone. That is nice. And your compatriot right next to you? Oh, hi, yes. I'm Glumbardo. I'm... Jesus Christ, I'm 69. That's pretty old. And if I could be anybody... If I could be anybody, I'd be Mr. Jocko. Like, that is so... Yes.
He
Just
has
yes.
to say that.
Like, and he's like... Might say
Who would
it.
you really be, Glumbardo? It's okay, I'll cover my ears. Who would you be? Go ahead.
I'd really be Mr. Jocko. That wasn't why. It'd be really great.
Say
believe
something
it.
else. I promise I won't get mad.
And what about you, darling? What's your name?
Is the tram, is the vehicle moving right now?
No, we haven't even gotten on, honey. We're about to get on.
That's OOC as well.
Yeah, we're not moving one bit yet. We're
You're
just
still
doing a fun game. We're all standing in a circle and talking.
She's standing there like eating her food and she didn't hear any of that.
Oh.
So she just looks up. She's like, "What?"
Oh.
Can I just have a piece of that? Just one piece.
Sure.
I'm really hungry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. Some kid knocked over my salmon.
I
just
saw
wanna
that.
try it.
I saw that.
Okay, that's really good. Good job. Dana, good job.
And from inside the Jetty, you hear,
Dana? It doesn't sound like Dana. Who was that?
So, honey, your name, I guess people don't want to talk about where they're from, so your name, your age, and who you would be if you could be anyone.
Do I know her?
No.
Does she know me?
No.
Oh.
She's, Jane Lee, you can tell, like, I think if you know anything about her, you know that she's like one of the preppy, like, college students who's just here for, like, the summer to, like, say they have a cool summer job.
Summer job.
Yeah.
She just says, "I'm Ember. Come see my show." And she puts her hands up and shoots like a bunch of sparks into the air.
Cool. Like, whoa! Like,
where does she usually do like her show?
she does it at El Spectacular.
Yeah, she said that.
Like, I think you can.
Show at El,
I think you can see the sign really close if you want to do anything with the sign. Like, because there's a big entrance. Yeah.
From where we're standing?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Cool. Nice. Just like, well, we've got a magician on our hands, a little magic person, one of our Magicianeers, as I'm sure you've heard about very much at Jocko's Adventerra. Let's move on to you, sir.
Okay. Oh, see, I've been to Spectacular before, and I've seen a lot of the shows, I'm assuming, since that's like...
Yeah.
Which of the performers have I been most impressed by?
I think...
Or is generally like the most beloved and impressive?
I think there are two who are incredibly impressive that everyone would know about. One is El Dimon, who is like a very imagine a Jack Black who is even fatter, like who does very like abrasive magic. Like he can like conjure things like up and like earth based.
Okay.
Like that's a good way to think about it. And there's one who's like a very slight female who doesn't really introduce herself, but just like creates like the most like beautiful and intense images you've ever seen, and no one knows her name.
Oh.
Well, I've probably seen her show before if I've been to
Yeah.
Spectacular.
But when this woman does the show, she has her face covered, like for a good portion of it.
Okay. Well, my name is Swiffer. I'm 45 years young.
Like, preach.
And if I could be anyone, I would be someone who could learn how to do what she just did. Or maybe make the things that make her do those things go away.
I can tell you have a dream. I love dreamers. And finally, our last person. Name, age, who you wanna be.
My name is Farrah, and I'd want to be you.
That is so sweet. Like, you know what? I am going to give you something that I'm only supposed to give to one person on the tram, but I can already tell you're my favorite. And she pulls out another free Jocko hat for you.
Why didn't you pick me, Jamie?
Like, don't worry, Mr. Jocko. I got an extra for you in case you're on the tour. So now you have a free Jocko hat.
There's been a grave miscounting.
Remember that these Jocko hats are bright blue, and they say, we're all a little Jocko here. And it's him going like, Well, now, let's get on the cowaga.
I have 2 questions.
Oh, yes, Mr. Stedman.
Does the cowaga driver know where we're going?
Oh, that depends. Let's ask him. Oh, hey, you in there. Danny. And, like, a kid who is, like, incredibly skinny, like, 23, and just, like, not a lick of fat or muscle on him is just like, yeah. What do you want to know?
I want to know if you know where we're going.
Yeah, I know where we're going.
Danny will kill us.
Hey, Danny, be a little happier. This is a tour. Right? I'm paying you.
Danny's like, no one fucking pays me, right?
Does no one pay you, Danny?
You don't pay me?
Danny, get the fuck off the bus.
Fine, I don't give a shit. Danny, like, walks away.
What's my assistant's name again?
Glumbardo.
Glumbardo? That kid is fired. Like, go get another driver.
They're like, okay. Glumbardo runs into the restaurant, and seconds later comes out with Dana.
Dana!
Oh, Mr. Jocko!
I love you, Dana. You're gonna drive because that little kid.
I don't have my license.
That's okay.
Okay?
What was your second question?
Wait, Glumbardo. What?
Yeah?
Go get that kid, actually. I want him to ride the tour with us. He's gonna sit on my lap. Go get him.
Glumbardo runs after that kid, and everyone who's about to go on the tour has to wait about a solid minute while Glumbardo tries to convince this kid. But after a while, you see them hug and Glumbardo pull out his own wallet and give him a portion of money, and then they walk back, and Danny says, I'd be very happy to sit on your lap, Mr. Jocko.
That's right.
Oh my god.
You're gonna have fun on this tour.
And your second question, Mr. Stedman.
Is the tour guide going to make us get off of the cowaga and walk around?
Dana? Yeah! Are you going to make anyone get off?
Wait, you're the driver and the guide?
No, I'm Janely. Dana's in there. Dana's in the front driver's seat.
Okay.
Dana from the Jetty. She was the cash register person, and she also made the pancakes.
No, I got that, but why are you asking Dana if you're going to make us get off and walk around?
Oh, you want to know if I will not make you get off and walk around.
Okay, I get on.
What, you're not a walker? Okay. Okay, everyone, get on. We're ready to go. And the seats are kind of as follows. So the driver's up here. There's a two-seater, 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 and then there's one in the back. Where do you all want to sit?
I take the back.
Okay. So Stedman was on first. That's where he sits.
I'll sit right here.
Okay. Where do you want to sit?
I wait to see where Ember sits.
Okay, so you got on earlier than her and you sit here.
Yeah.
Over here.
So-
I move seats.
and then where
I don't care.
let's say you get on, and even though there's a seat right here, you still make Danny sit on your lap.
Yeah.
And then Glumbardo will get right here. Or Glumbardo will get here, and then Jane Lee... Actually, let's say Glumbardo sits here.
Glumbardo, why don't you
sit
sit
there.
next to me?
Like, okay, I will. So Glumbardo's sitting next to you. You're sitting here with Danny on your lap. And Jane Lee uses this area kind of as like a tour guide area. So... With no further ado, not that voice. With no further ado, Adventerra, and the tram starts, or the cowaga starts to drive.
I like how it's a tram now.
Yeah, it basically is, but we're all little Jocko here. So the very first place we're going to go is to the very end of the Dopa Zone. Dopa Zone, of course, stands for dopamine, the endorphins you get when you fight other people. Who here has experienced dopamine today? That's a joke, because you all have. Whenever you feel happy, that's dopamine. And when you're at Adventerra, you're happy every day. Can I get a what?
What?
Thank you. And so you start driving through the Dopa Zone. And through the side panels of the cowaga, you can see that there's a giant jousting ring where two fighters are going back and forth, revving up their horses, as it were. And there are still people, even though it's the last day, the JSS Jocko of the Deep can hold probably about 10,000 people on it. So they're all going to be lining up. So these are the stragglers. And even though they're just the stragglers, it's still packed, the entire auditorium for the jousting. And you see one knight crash into the other, and his spur, like, breaks. I forget the name of the jousting implement. The lance. You're very right. The lance breaks, and it shatters and knocks his opponent onto the ground. And the crowd, like, rises, and they start cheering, "Green Knight! Green Knight!" And the Green Knight jumps off of his horse and takes a bow. And then you drive by the gladiator pit, where there's one lone man in the middle. And the auditorium, once again, is probably about half-packed, a little less, but that's just because it's so much bigger. It probably holds about 500 people. And you see him wrestling your first creature of the day, which is a half-human, half-lion, almost, in the middle of this ring. And you're just there to see him pin the lion down, and a ref comes on and taps 1, 2, 3... and the crowd cheers because he's won. And they start cheering his name. Lanubrius! Lanubrius! And the dragonborn Lanubrius stands up and does a gesture as if to say, "Are you not entertained?" Lanubrius is the most famous fighter in the Dopa Zone. And he knows it. And also, when you're driving through the Dopa Zone, you come to a clearing, which is a little bit like bungee jumping in reverse, where there are people who are in control of making you magic up 500 feet in the air and then careening you back down. So you see a field and you're not sure exactly what's happening, but a man is using his hand to gesture people up into the air one at a time and letting them free fall and then slowing them down at the last possible second. And this is happening over and over.
How far away is that? From
It's from where you start, about here.
no, from the tram.
Oh, it's probably about...
Where's like the
It's probably
closest
about a
person?
quarter mile.
Okay.
So you can see it, but it's not like they're in danger of falling on you. And during the whole time, Jane Lee is just saying, like, "Yes, this is very frightening. Have any of us ever done the bungee jumping while we were here this week? Did anyone do it?
I did it.
You tried it? Oh, that's so interesting. Swiffer. How was it?
Well, I really just wanted to talk to the guy doing it. That's kind of the only reason I went on, but he didn't seem interested.
Oh, you talked to Maxwell?
You know his name?
Well, we all know each other as members of the Jocko's Adventerra college program.
Well, do you think he could introduce us?
Unfortunately, Maxwell has already gone home for the season.
And how are we seeing him look people up?
And we move on. And so we finish out the Dopa Zone. It probably takes about 15 minutes to see everything else you want to see. It's also filled with immensely different, like, food restaurants. Imagine, like, the part of Pleasure Island where everyone wants to, like, fight each other and there's, like, Native American statues and cigars being handed out. It's kind of like Boy Town, a little bit, like the stereotypical notion of a boy. And just so you all know, on the back of your maps, when in prehistory, do as the cavemen do. Cavemen times. Eat like a caveman, play like a caveman, live like a caveman. That's also in the Dopa Zone. So, and you see that, and that would be...
Did the tour guide, like, read that off?
I think she did. Like,
well,
and also, look
Jimmy
at the back
Fallon
of your
read that
map.
off on a TV screen. Like,
While Ember is, like, eating her chicken with her head down, she hears that and she's like, play like a caveman. Like, repeats it like she's heard it.
That's awesome. So we go out onto the... So now we're leaving the Dopa Zone and we're going out onto the Pleasure Passage. And as you know, the Pleasure Passage is where so much of our shopping happens. So much of the souvenirs that you want to buy for those you love. Your Jocko memorabilia, your Tugboy Tuna memorabilia for AquataMania. And also the other variety of characters we have here. Who can name some of their favorite Jocko Land Adventerra characters?
I like Queasy Pete.
Yes, Queasy Pete is one of our most popular with our sadder attendees. Queasy Pete, of course, is the man who is not able to ride any of the rides.
So do we pull up, like, close to, like, a gift shop or something? Is that what...
We're getting there. Can anyone else name another one of their favorite characters?
Dana.
Mr. Jocko! and Dana, like, lets go of the wheel and turns around. like, you mean it?
Yeah, you're a character and a person.
Like, yeah.
Oh, see, are there, like, can you put your, like, arm through the windows of this, or are they all covered?
I think we're at the part where you can put your arm through.
Okay.
But when we get to Flora Fauna, you will not be able to. And Jane Lee tells you all that. I'll let that be a real question. So yes, you can put your arms through. Don't be afraid. But when we get to Flora Fauna, we will need to be shutting those. Great. So we make our way down to Pleasure Passage, and Jane Lee says, so we will be ending at the gift shop, but we're just driving by the gift shop for right now because we're going to just do a quick drive-by of Le Grand in Jocko. And so we pull up just about here to get a good view of Le Grand in Jocko. And what it is imagine a gigantic rustic hunting lodge, but with a statue of Jocko, like, very flamboyantly as, like, a matador in front. And
What's the statue made of?
the statue is made of iron ore. And also, somewhat ironically, on the front door, so the statue's out front, but then on the entrance there's, like, a mounted bull head, but it's with Jocko's head. Like, but it's, like, made. so it's like he's the hunter and the hunted. And there's no way Jocko gets that indication. So, of course, we don't know why we stop here on the tour because most of you are staying here now. In fact, all of you are, including our most supreme guest, of course, who lives on the top floor. And she points to the 13th floor, which is the very top, and the very apex of the hunting lodge. And she says, but I'll never tell, and winks at Jocko.
Casa Jocko.
Now let's head back to El Spectaculo Spectacular. And we go back through the Pleasure Passage. And she says, but before we do, look out to your left. And she gestures to the giant viewing section. And you can see that this is about 3 stories high. And it's giant glass where you can walk up a flight of stairs to be able to look out over all of Flora Fauna. And she says, now we are going to Flora Fauna today, but as you can tell, if you were to walk up these stairs, you'd be able to see its great vastness. You'd be able to see the forests to the easternmost portion, I don't remember my directions sometimes, be able to see the mountains to the north, and you'd be able to see the great desert to the south. And with the binoculars we have there, you can see many of the wonderful creatures. It's very fun. Now to El Spectacular Spectacular. And then we go to El Spectacular Spectacular. And we stop right in front, and she says, now, this is the part where we take a potty break. Who needs to go? Well, I need to go. And so she gets off and she says, if no one else has to go, just wait here for a little bit.
I ask, hey, Danny, you need to go?
Like, yeah, kind of.
No, then you have to stay.
Like, Danny looks at Farrah and says, and gestures like,
I look the other direction.
like, please. He's only looking at you.
Do you want a diaper, Danny?
No.
Do I see like a restroom structure?
Yeah, you see the restroom structure. It's it sounds weird, but it's a bathroom you'd be familiar with. It's so as soon as you pass through the entrance to El Spectacular Spectacular, it's right about here.
What's
Just
it made of?
it's made out of wood. It's like
Who did I saw someone go in there?
Jane Lee's in there right now.
Who goes in there? Okay, while still sitting on the tram, Ember like points her finger out of the window a little bit and shoots a firebolt at the restroom.
Roll for it. Is it?
It's a ranged attack, and then it does some damage. But
I saved Danny's life.
10.
Cool. That'll make it happen. But it starts to catch fire and does a little bit of damage, but doesn't really spread anywhere. Can you roll for stealth, though? I want to see how stealthy you were when you did that.
Yeah. Just what type of check do you want me to make?
I want you to stealth check. I want you to be, or unless you wanted people to see you.
So that's an 18 plus.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that does it.
Whatever. Yeah, 2.
Cool. Then I don't think Swiffer sees you. That's what that was going to be a check for. Because you're buddies.
But is the bathroom like on fire?
The bathroom is starting to get on fire. It wasn't an explosion, but Jane Lee comes out before she notices that it's on fire. Comes back on the tram and is like, okay, everyone, sorry, I just needed a minute. If you couldn't tell, this is my first time doing the tram, so I'm a little nervous, but thank you for all bearing with me. Great, now we're going to go into El Spectacular Spectacular, but then,
Ember raises her hand and says, I think the bathroom's on fire.
excuse me, what?
I think the bathroom's on fire.
Like, and Jane Lee goes and looks and she's like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
What did you eat?
Like, no, Mr. Jocko, I didn't do anything. I just went in there to get some water, and that's the honest truth. I needed to parch my throat.
Okay, Glenn, go take out. Go. Does anyone have a water bottle?
Who's Glenn?
Glumbardo?
Glum-
Glum, what's his name?
Glumbardo.
Glum. Hey, Glum.
Glumby.
Dude, what should we do? You want to call the...
I'll go extinguish the fire.
I say to, or Ember says to not little Jocko, Big Jocko, I saw her light it on fire.
Do a persuasion check.
Well, I'm just saying that to him.
I want you to... You're trying to persuade him.
I'm not, well, I'm not persuading him to do anything, I just said that.
Making a statement.
Yeah.
Well, how about deception then?
Okay, deception. That's good.
That's a 16 plus 6.
Okay, yeah.
So I believe it?
Yeah. What he says you think is fact.
So you saw her light it on fire? How'd she do it?
She's like a
And while
little
this is
plant.
happening, Glumbardo is like,
towel?
yeah, it's like the scene is you two talking and then him in the window, yeah, taking care of it. And Jane Lee is standing to the side, being like, "I'm so sorry." Like,
Hey, this girl says she saw you do it.
like what?
Well, how'd she do it? What'd she do?
She's like a little piece of flint.
Shit.
You
ate Flint?
No, I didn't do anything. That's
I just thought I should let you know.
Like,
Mr. Jocko, that's not true. I didn't do anything.
yeah, like, I feel like he wouldn't be deceived by this. Like, I don't, because, like, I don't know.
But he deceived me.
So-
Yeah, he did deceive you.
Why'd you do it?
I didn't.
Can,
Like, come with me into
Alright,
the bathroom.
that's your second strike. We all know what your first strike was, Jamie. So, let's not let it get to strike 3.
Okay.
You're doing good. So, after he puts out the fire, let's just keep going.
Like, okay, Mr.
You
Jocko.
break a guy's jaw because his son tricked you. But an employee of yours lit a bathroom on fire and you
Acts of minor arson.
Like, and then
slap on the wrist.
after putting out the fire, Glumbardo goes to the front and says, also, has anyone seen a Mocha skinned woman?
She died in the fire.
I forgot to make the announcement beforehand to be looking out the coverings for a Mocha skinned woman. Sometimes she's fat, sometimes she's thin. She's very proud.
Is she ever just right?
No. Is that fair to say, sir?
What kind of porridge is she?
Sir, is it fair to say that she's never just right?
She's always perfect to me.
Oh.
Oh.
See, that's why we're looking for her, folks. Danny, hop back on the lap. I'll sit down.
Wait, when was Danny off my lap? Danny, did you move? Did you move while I was talking to that girl?
No. Like, but you can see that his foot is, like, leaning over from, like, sitting in Jane Lee's seat a little bit. Like, he's been trying to scoot over there.
Okay.
I can definitely see the issues he had.
Cool.
Oh, man.
Great. El Spectacular. And I'm sorry for saying before that I was nervous, because now I'm even more nervous than I was. So, this is El Spectacular. This is where the magic shows happen. You know who they are. El Dimon and the girl with no name. And they're very great. And she gestures, and you just see, like, a giant stage with different pyrotechnics. It's like, okay, let's move on. And you go back up the pleasure passage, and then you...
Is that... Wait, you said I worked today?
No, you don't work today.
Oh. Okay.
No. I think I said you didn't work today.
Alright.
Cool. And then we go to...
Like, OOC, wait, who's Kyle? What?
Like,
don't
you
get
just
it.
go back to Jocko and you're, like, messaging us. And then we enter AquataMania. And Jane Lee takes a breath and says, okay, everyone. This
We're
is
going
the...
under.
This is the last portion of the park that's not in Flora Fauna. And I'm excited to share it with you because it is my personal favorite point of the park. And the very first thing you see is the cowaga immediately submerges into water. It is a dual vehicle that can be on both land and water. Like a duck car. Like, you know those duck tours, those duck boat tours?
I start having like PTSD.
Like, sir, are you all right?
Yeah, this is terrible for somebody's cruise ship saying.
We didn't know that. like, sir, are you all right? Do you need anything?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Glum, give him the Heimlich.
I don't think he needs
Yeah, I
that.
don't do it.
So, we're now in the water, and somehow they've been able to magic rides onto the water. So, there's a log ride where it's just a single piece of wood that you can get into, that you get off the cowaga and get into, and the water somehow, like, elevates it up with no, like, structure underneath, and then you're magic back down, like, much faster for an exhilarating experience. A plume experience. But what really shines about AquataMania are all the animals that come up and play with you. This is the first real instance of getting close to any of the animals in Adventerra. And they're all aquatic, like dolphins and manatees, but imagine like Island of Dr. Moreau a little bit, where they have like slightly human faces and can like use slight sounds to like joke a little bit and be a little more playful. So the first creatures that come up are a school of dolphins who start jumping up by the cowaga and start going like, ah! Do you see those? We're very lucky today. That's a school of dolphins. Like, anyone want to say hi?
Hello.
Like, oh, come on. Any brave soul? Anyone feel like they want to swim with the dolphins today?
I take my shirt off and I jump in.
Mr. Jocko, wait, that's a joke. You know that's a joke part
I
of
don't
the tour.
jump. Like, what?
Like, are you doing like the backstroke?
Wait, do I really go in? Do I go in?
You just said you did.
Okay. Now I'm doing like a doggy paddle thing. Like
I think we need to establish right now how many take-backs Jocko has.
Jocko has no take backs. If he says something once,
I get back in right away. Like, whoa. That was fun.
like Dana's laughing really hard at that.
Dana.
Like, oh, Mr. Jocko.
Dana's like my Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Mr. J.
This is like what I'm imagining, and it's a nightmare.
That's kind of what it is. But as you're looking at the dolphins and after Jocko's excursion into the water, you see a man like riding like a giant turtle, like coming up behind them saying like, "Stay tight, mates! Stay tight!" And you see the glowing locks of a man on board who knows that he's gorgeous and knows that he's cool, coming by and says, "Hi, say hi to the tour!" And all the dolphins go at the same time. And Jane Lee says, "And you've met our newest addition. I can now say this is its last day, but keep it to yourselves. We're about to announce that the star Krostolf is now taking over AquataMania. And as you've just seen, that's Krostolf, world famous adventurer, like explorer of the ocean, and Jabonia's handsomest man 3 years in a row. Everyone give it up for Krostolf, but don't tell anyone." Like, Glumbardo is cheering very loud and trying to get everyone to go with it, because this is their newest acquisition.
Glum, chill. Danny, you clap hard.
Like Danny clapped hard. And as you're watching Krostolf, you realize that he's taking the dolphins around, doing a bit of a show for all of you, but there's one dolphin that keeps swimming straight ahead. If they turn a sharp left, the dolphin keeps going, and you see him like keep swimming very determinedly, and his fin is sticking out of the water, and he keeps going. And Jane Lee says, "Oh no, well, this is a big thing that you get to see today, because we don't often see one of these, but..."
It's giving birth.
No. No. Now, a lot of our animals, like, haven't necessarily known, like, freedom and how to go about. So sometimes they want to explore and don't want to do the tricks, and that's okay. It's free to explore. But unfortunately, and just as she says that, about a quarter mile out or so, the dolphin hits something, like some, like, force field, and it gets shot back immediately, like, back to where the other dolphins are. Not too far from where you are, actually, about a quarter mile. It's not too harmed, like, it's still able to swim, but it's definitely shocked. And Jane Lee says, "Yes, well, that's how we keep all the animals in Adventerra. There's a force field bubble around the entire expanse, about a quarter mile out. It's not too big a deal, but the only hole in the system is through the JSS Jocko of the Deep. That's the only way in or out. So that's how we keep them in. Now you know a little bit of our trade secrets. Usually we don't like the guests seeing that, but you gotta know how it happens, right? Like, it's all part of the magic. And now, on our way to Flora Fauna. this is the only way to access Flora Fauna proper. We enter through AquataMania, and then we take a small boat around, and it'll let us right out the forest portion, and then suddenly, as she's saying all of that, 2 police boats come up, 2 security boats, and say, no, go back. And Jane Lee says, what do you mean go back? And Danny says, I don't know how to go back, Mr. J.
Danny, what do we do? You're the driver.
And Glumbardo sticks his head out and says, what's the problem, officers? And the officers say, no, Flora Fauna closed. No one's getting in. And Glumbardo says, yeah, but we got him. We got the guy. Like, we got the big man. We can go through. And the police say, no one comes through. And Glumbardo says, they're not letting me through.
Did we have business there or something? What did we have to do today?
Like,
We're on a tour.
Were we supposed to do something?
Glumbardo looks at everyone and says, we were going to meet Christophe, like, in the Flora Fauna to show him around.
Oh. Well, ask them why we can't go in.
I just did.
Why can't we go in?
The police or security officers say, like, can't say too many protocols, you gotta turn back.
I jump out in the water, swim over to the police boat. I get onto the police boat, okay guys, what's going on? Give me the lowdown.
Okay, well,
It's me.
Just some of the animals are acting like strange, you know.
Oh crap.
No, it's nothing too bad, but we just need to shut it down to the public. Like,
Okay.
You were going to meet Christophe, right?
Yeah. So what should we do? Should we just go back? Where should we?
Yeah, just go back. You can meet at the viewing center.
All right.
We're going a couple.
I go in backwards. I do like a little. I just kind of like. Whoop, kind of like.
So, I say, but Big Jocko, I wanted to see the fauna and flora section.
I know, Swiffer. I know. Damn it.
I mean, can't you own this place? Can't you use some of your influence to make them let us go in?
They said some of the animals are acting up in there. It's dangerous.
Dude, you just jumped out of a boat.
Well, I know. I'm not afraid
I
of no
saw you
animals.
assault an entire family. You're more dangerous than any animal possibly.
What kind of container did my chicken come in?
Your chicken came in. Think like a recyclable container where it's like styrofoam, but it's made with processed materials. But there are no individual compartments. It's just one big compartment.
Alright, after she's done eating the chicken, she just throws that in the water.
Great. Like a dolphin comes up and starts like eating it. Which is fine to do.
Please, Big Jocko, it's our last day on the island. You gotta let us go to the fauna and flora section. It can't be that bad.
And Glumbardo says, Jocko, we told this man we'd find the Mocha woman. I use that word because
Well,
it's what he understands.
Well, let's go through. What should I do? Yell at him? Yell at the cops?
I don't know why you're questioning.
Hey, we're gonna go in anyway. Guys. Cop?
Yeah, you talking to us?
Should, there's just one more group. I think we'll be okay.
Well, I think we could let you go if you were able to sweeten the pot a little bit.
Come again?
I don't know. If you do something for me, maybe I'll
give you
go.
Danny.
What's a Danny?
This is Danny.
like
all the money in his wallet is yours.
like Danny looks at Glumbardo, who for the life of God can't look at him. Or else he'll start
I'm holding
crying.
Danny over the boat. He's like,
okay, yeah, we'll take Danny.
good. We're going through.
How do you let go of Danny? Do you just drop?
I don't let him go. I wait till we pass the cop boat and I throw him onto the boat.
Okay.
Are your own employees bribing you? Ember says.
Kinda. Yeah. I don't care about Danny though. I want to give him anything else. Who gives a shit about Danny?
Okay.
Okay.
They were asking for something else. Something big. Go over there and do something.
Oh, see, and the living person wasn't like that. No, I thought their guys were something like outrageous, so I just gave them one.
I wish I could go back and ask Danny, like, what do you mean you're not getting paid? Are you asleep?
Like, you can go back and ask if you want.
Danny, I'm just wondering about your comment earlier. What did you mean you're not getting paid here? Does your mom work here and you're like, she's babysitting you or something? Like,
No, I file my returns. You don't send me paychecks.
what?
Check your billing department, man. I don't know what to tell you.
How long have you been working here, Danny?
Like 8 months.
Danny.
What, should I come to you sooner?
Danny.
Would you have sold me then?
Danny.
Is it like leaving as you're saying
Yeah,
this?
the boat's like drifting. Like both boats are drifting away.
I just keep saying, like, Danny. And I'm like looking at him like, oh, I'm sorry.
And Dana pops her head out and says, "So, I don't know if this is a good time to tell you, but we got no more gas in this boat. I haven't been driving anywhere. It's just been drifting."
Oh. That's weird.
Does anyone know how to start a boat?
How did that happen?
Look, we might have to row to Flora Fauna.
It has like gasoline engine.
Yes, we're very advanced. No, we got a little coal engine in there. I've been shoveling with my left foot the entire time.
Gas is just a general term for.
Yeah. Oh, you gas, the stuff, the go juice.
Can I look and see if maybe there's something wrong with the engine?
Oh, sure.
Because I might know something about
Yeah,
that.
there's a little hookup up here. And Dana opens that for you, and she pops it up. And you see that the problem is just, do an investigation.
Okay. And I have that as a skill, like a selected skill,
Oh, cool.
but I never figured out how to, what should I put
What does it say next to it? It is?
there? It
It's
is
intelligence +2.
Yeah, it's intelligence +2.
Well, that's just 2.
Cool. Great.
Okay. So,
Your intelligence is 0.
well, my modifier is 0. My
No.
intelligence is 11. I just
I
don't
believe in you.
I don't get any extras. 2.
Okay, so
So I gotta
so
roll
you look
4.
at you look at the engine, but you realize that the problem is that there's not not of the substance needed. Like whatever this engine runs on, and you can't quite tell, even though she said coal. You're not exactly sure what it is. Like you just know that it's run out of whatever it needs.
Like, yeah, we're screwed.
What's the immediate surroundings? How far away are we from?
The immediate surroundings are water. We're probably about 500 feet from the AquataMania entrance point.
Just kind of
Yeah.
just out there somewhere.
Yeah, we're probably right about here. We're probably a little further from Flora Fauna than we are from AquataMania.
It's up to you guys. We can either kind of row ourselves back to the cop boats, jump on there. Because if we go to this, we're going to have to row all the way back over here. But if we catch up with those cop boats, free ride right there. If we keep going here, we're going to have to row all the way back to, wherever we came from.
It's not too far.
Oh, okay.
Like,
You guys want to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, it's the last
Like-
day.
well, then you gotta row. And Dana pulls out the emergency oars for everyone to row. And she says, now this is a very big vehicle, and it won't move unless all of you row the hardest you possibly can. I'll row too. I'm not counting myself out of this, but we all gotta do it. Sound good?
Dana, Jane Lee. Do I have to do it?
You have to do whatever Dana says, and I think...
Dana?
Yes, Mr. Jocko.
Do I have to do this?
Mr. Jocko, everyone's got to do this one.
If one person doesn't do it,
Then it won't
it's not
work.
gonna matter. All right, I'll do it. Give me an oar.
Okay, so Dana hands each of you an oar. Do you row?
I start rowing. I want to get to the place.
Okay.
Look at the oar, and then can I inspect the engine too?
Yeah, sure.
12, and investigation is a... What's investigation? Intelligence?
Yeah.
Plus 2, 14.
Cool. Yeah, so that's enough to see that there isn't... so it is out of coal, but you do see like a small emergency bag in the back, and you open it up and you find enough coal to at least get you back to the AquataMania shore. That'll like jumpstart a little bit.
Yeah, I just walk over there without asking or saying anything and just take the coal and put it in the engine.
Great.
I turn around and say, I'm not rowing.
Yeah. And Dana, like, revs in, is like, oh, here we go! Like, everyone hold back. Like, thank you for all participating in possibly rowing, if that's what it was going to come to, but it did not. We'll head back. And so everyone Dana decides, because she has just enough fuel, to head back to the entrance of AquataMania.
Okay.
And as soon as you pull up on the shore, the engine stops entirely, and she says, "Well, now we gotta walk back to the jetty. I hope that was a fun tour for all of you." And Jane Lee says, "Yeah, well, sorry we didn't get to go to Flora Fauna, but the gift shop's here, so let's head there for a little bit and take some time to shop. Thank you for coming to Adventerra. So let's head over to the gift shop, and then may I suggest the last boat leaves at 3 p.m. today, so you're going to want to go to your room at La Grande de Jocko and get any materials you might have left there, and then you'll be leaving. So have fun. Tipping isn't necessary."
I purposely do not tip.
Okay. Does anyone?
I take 2 hats, more Jocko hats, and put them into my backpack from the gift shop.
Oh, good. Cool. Yeah, so we're in the gift shop. It's called Jocko's Wacky Hut. And it has everything you could need. It has pens with everyone's name on it but yours. It has license plates with everyone's name on it but yours. It has license plate covers that say, "I left my heart in Adventerra." It has mugs with Jocko's face on them. It has mugs with...
Queasy Pete.
Yeah, Queasy Pete. And Tugboy Tuna. And there's actually a Tugboy Tuna person in a mascot suit who's walking around. And Tugboy Tuna looks like a somehow muscular fish with sunglasses. And he comes up to Stedman first and says, "Cowabunga! I'm Tugboy Tuna! You want to take a pic with old me?"
I just walk away.
Like, "Salutations, mi amigo!" And then he walks over to Farrah and says, "Yo, what's up? I'm Tugboy Tuna. You want to wrestle?"
No.
Like, "Oh, come on."
No.
"Well, come on. At least you gotta give me a solid bump." That's what I'm talking about. Have a groovy tubey day.
I take 2 mugs from the gift shop.
Yeah, the person at the cash register is just making sure that Tugboy Tuna doesn't knock anything over, so that works. Well, Ember, what are you doing in the gift shop?
Standing.
Standing, looking around.
What do I need to be doing?
You don't need to be doing anything. This is just where the tour ends.
Oh, well, then I just start walking back towards my room in the hotel.
But then someone taps you on the shoulder and says, "Now where do you think you're going?" And it's Glumbardo saying,
Glumbardo is evil.
like, "Hey, like, girl with no name, huh? Ember? That's your real name?"
Yes, what do you want?
Like, I just want to say, you can tell people whatever you want, but I know you're fire. I know what it looks like when I see you. I know that you started the fire outside El Spectacular in the crapper there. I saw it.
That wasn't me, though.
This.
Oh, who else has bright red fire that comes out of their hands and starts things?
What do you want from me?
I just want to let you know I knew.
Okay.
Like,
Stop talking to me. And then she turns and starts
I love the
walking
dynamic.
and let me check something. Okay. Like, I'm not going to do that. But Glumbardo says, hey, you want a full-time season spot next time?
A full-time season spot?
I got
She asks.
I got a ticket that El Dimon is going to be heading out of here pretty right quick.
Sure, I'll take it.
Okay, but you don't know anything about it.
I'll take it.
You're gonna have to do things
Like-
to him.
That's not true. Like, Mr. Jocko, get out of this conversation.
No, that's not Jocko.
That's me, Caleb. like, I mean, you're going to have to stay here the entire break. Like, you're not going to be able to go home or anything. Like,
When?
well, like, you can start staying here today. You don't have to go home today, but I assume you want to see your family and other things.
Not at all.
Not sad. Well, do you want to grab lunch with me and Mr. Jocko after this?
Do I have to?
You don't have to do anything. You can
Yeah, no.
get out of here. I know you want to go. But Glumbardo laughs a little bit and he says, "Don't forget your Jocko hat." But he says it like a joke.
Glumbardo's like a comic book villain. Like, I can just see panels of him like with that last line.
So yeah, you want to go back to the hotel?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool. Jocko, what are you doing?
I'm just kind of like looking around the shop, being like, I built this. Like, this is my empire. Like,
One of Tugboy Tuna comes up to you and says, "Hey, oh, holy Moses! It's the boss! Hey, Mr. Jocko!
what
Tell us about how you built this place! Jeezum Crow! Fuck, dude!"
Well, I was a dreamer, and I hope you're a dreamer. Whoever's under there.
I hope I am too. But
you
it's
can
just
do
me.
anything you want, man.
Anything?
Yeah,
I
just gotta dream it. Dream it. You can be me someday.
How?
Uh,
How could be Tugboy Tuna be the guy who invented Tugboy Tuna?
well, that's true. You can't do that. I met the guy who's under there. Who are you?
Like, they say we're not allowed to break character while guests
You
are
can do
nearby.
it in front of me. Do it.
This seems like the one time I can't do it.
Could be a trick. You never know. You don't know if I'm tricking you.
You're
or not.
right. You know what I've learned about Mr. Jocko? He takes life by the balls. It's me, Ricky.
It was a trick, and I punched him.
Can you roll a d20?
It wasn't me. And I punched you.
19.
That's the exact same roll you got last time. So once again, it breaks his cheekbone. And he gets knocked down on the ground. He's not knocked out, but he's like,
Oh, God.
like, and the cash register girl who was watching him before, like, runs over. And is like, "Ricky, are you okay?"
Like, Ricky broke the rules. That's what happens when you break the rules,
Mr.
right?
Jocko, why'd you punch him?
Wasn't following protocol. It's the last day. I'm a little nuts. Like,
And Ricky's like, no, babe, it's cool. It's just I can get up.
babe, what is she, your girlfriend?
Is there a right answer?
Relationships aren't allowed in the workplace. You know that too. That's in the handbook. Alright? You gotta fill out a form when that happens, alright?
Mr. Jocko, please just let this slide.
Should I punch her too? Or
Oh, no, punch me again.
alright. You guys are good. You've suffered enough. But seriously, fill out that form, okay?
Okay.
Oh, let's see. Breaking character, which is like after you told someone. But I mean, like the serious HR issue of having a relationship.
Also, I want to retcon it that when you punched him, it hit like the shelf of mugs. So like all the Tugboy tuna mugs like shattered like around like his like bemasked face, like which got blood all over like the mascot outfit.
Oh man.
Stedman, what are you doing while this happens?
I'm standing at the entrance, just kind of looking mournfully out at the ocean.
Like, so Glumbardo has left Ember right now, and Glumbardo comes in and's like, I'm sorry we didn't get to Flora Fauna.
Uh-huh.
Is there any way I can make this up to you?
Find my wife.
Like, you're not being very proactive about this.
You made me go on a tour I didn't want to go on.
Well, what I'm saying, buddy, is you gotta take a chance once in a while. You gotta try something. Like, other people can't look for your wife. You gotta look for your wife.
I've been looking for my wife.
Where?
I swam here.
You did?
Yeah. And I found a lot of people here, and I thought that someone would help me. And instead you're making me get on cowagas, and then boats that break down, and then you're trying to pawn off gifts on me. I just want to go find my wife.
Okay.
Can I leave now?
That's all firm and fair.
I hand him a Queasy Pete mug, and I'm like, this is on the house. Brother.
Like, Glumbardo is doing like a not now.
They drink too. Here.
I'll take it.
Like,
Like, you know what? Fine. Yeah. Is that okay if she has it?
like, Mr. Jocko, you were offering him a gift because his wife is missing and you were trying to ease over it, and then you gave his gift away.
Here's another one. I just grab another one off the shelf.
Okay.
I take it, like, angrily.
Like,
I don't let go of it. Great.
do you say holding on to it too, Stedman?
What?
Oh yes. If you keep your grip.
Oh,
on it,
no,
like,
no, I just let go of it.
Oh, and I just try to give it to you again. like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to drop it.
Mr.
So I don't
Jocko,
let go.
I speak for both Mr. Jocko and myself when I say, from this point on, we are dedicated to finding your wife.
I'm not dedicated.
Thank
to
you.
that.
Maybe
Like-
make some kind of island-wide announcement.
Yes, we can do that. And Glumbardo makes the head out. Farrah and Stedman, anything you want to do?
Nope.
She's just stealing stuff. Like,
Anything you want to do before we move on?
Sure. No, I'm like not really all about the gifts. I'm more bummed that like I didn't like. I know I'm gonna have to leave this island without having achieved the goal I came here to do.
I go up to Swiffer though. I'm like, you met me though, right?
I go, isn't that your employee bleeding on the ground over there, sir?
You broke the rules.
I make a mental note not to piss off.
Like, Glumbardo has kind of picked up what you're about because you explicitly told everyone during the cowaga ride. And he says, Mr. Jocko, you can tell Swiffer about how you used your magical prowess to help start the island.
I did. I'm a warlock.
Okay. Do you know how to unwarlock somebody?
Maybe.
You
You don't want to be a warlock?
Well,
Are you a warlock?
It's a long story, Mr. Jocko. I really just want to go home, but I can't for right now.
But you came here to find someone who could take away
Yeah, pretty much.
a curse.
Something
As-
like that. I am
Glum,
like,
do
I'm super unsure of how it, like, I think it's cool because he's like the guy who created this place, but I'm like,
Do you want him to trust you?
No, I'm talking Glum right now.
Oh, you're talking to Glum?
Like, hey Glum,
Yeah?
is there a thing for that?
I'm not a magic man.
Yeah, what are you, Glum?
My official title is head of creature maintenance and inventory.
Is he a gnome or is he?
Nah, I'm an old guy.
He's a human.
I'm a 69-year-old human man. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Like, how tall is Big Jocko?
I know. I haven't done that yet.
I feel like you're role playing him like he's like.
like I imagine.
I think I'm still pretty short.
Like, I imagine
but-
a human-sized gnome is like what I'm getting.
I think I'd be like
I
the
imagine-
tallest possible gnome.
I imagine like Danny DeVito size.
That's good. Yeah. That's perfect.
Okay, so this conversation is happening. Ember has left, and Glumbardo is leaving shortly after to go figure out the situation for Stedman. The gift shop is right about here, right underneath the viewing. And when Ember leaves, she feels it first. She doesn't... She hears it, but doesn't see the ramifications until soon after. A giant whirring sound, like, starts underneath your feet, and it becomes, like, an incessant rumble. But it's not a rumble because it's humming. It's an intense vibration that none of you have ever felt before. And that's when she finally starts to see the ramifications. At the very end of the pleasure passage, when you walk out, if you're heading towards La Grande in de Jocko, you can see the ship of the JSS Jocko of the Deep. And there's something lifting the ship up, and she can't exactly tell what it is, but as the intensity happens, she sees that very slowly lifting up is a column underneath the ship, which reminds you is about 1,000 feet long. And the ship is about half on the column and half off. So to give you an image, it's like that big. And Ember sees it, and Glumbardo comes up and says, "Holy cow, what is that?" And he goes into the shop and calls all of you to come out and look. And the pillar starts rising the ship off the ground until it's probably about 10 feet, and it doesn't make much of a difference, and 20 feet and doesn't make a difference. But when it reaches about 30 feet high, this column, which is probably about 500 feet across, the ship snaps in two, and you see it completely disintegrate. And what do you do from there?
Ember says, "Oh shit."
I hear Ember say that, and I want her to think I'm cool, so I go, "Oh shit."
But the rumbling hasn't stopped, and you see that it's happening there, but because of how long the island is, that's probably about 2 miles away. It feels weird that the vibrating would be happening so close. And you look behind you, and if you're standing right about here in the pleasure passage, you see that there's a giant circle column raising up right about here, right underneath the viewing platform. And it starts to raise the viewing platform up. And it's not as wide, I think, as the 500-foot one here, but it's still sizable. Let's say 300 feet across. And it starts raising the viewing platform up, which was probably about 3 stories high. So it's already doubled its height. But what's really unnerving is that as the viewing center gets shifted up, that's where the fence is attached. And you start seeing that as it gets lifted higher and higher, the fence starts getting lifted up. The fence that goes all the way at the end from one end of the island to the other. And you look out in the distance towards La Grande in de Jocko, and you see that there's another one forming here, and another one raising up from here.
They're like columns of dirt,
They're like
of earth.
columns of like solid iron.
Can I see if there's, from where I'm at, am I close enough to any of these to like get a real good look at them?
No, I think they're too big. Like I think you can see this one. You just see like, you can't see the full circularness of it, but you can see it like raising straight out of the ground.
I mean, can I see like the surface of like whatever, I guess, side of this
Yeah.
column I'm on, and do I see anything like written on it, or is it just very plain? Or
It's like polished obsidian
okay,
almost.
but there's no like carvings or anything.
Yeah,
right?
there's no visible carvings.
I'm like, I just think to myself, I'm like, wow, this is really odd.
Yeah. Glumbardo says, "Oh no. Everyone back in the gift shop! Back in the gift shop!" Do you follow him?
No.
I go to the gift shop.
Like, okay. So, who goes to the gift shop?
I'm following Glum. I'm going. Glum? Wait!
Ember asks, like, what is that?
Like, just come to the gift shop! Everyone needs to get out right now!
So you know what that is?
I know that Flora Fauna is exposed! You need to get in the gift shop! This can't be good! And out all along the streets of Pleasure Passage, you see probably about 1,000 people all gathered out looking at the ship, and Glumbardo is yelling to all of them, "Come to the gift shop! Get out of here! Go back inside your places!" But he's already about to be in the gift shop with Jocko. He's like pushing them in.
Does the gift? Because you said the gift shop was like right here.
Let's say that the gift shop is like right. I think I drew this circle a little big. Let's say that it's not affected by the gift shop, but it's like right close to where the fence is.
Like, using my best common sense, does the gift shop really seem like a safe place to be?
Where am I standing right now?
You're standing. No one is on the column. Everyone's probably about like here. It's not too hard to get there. I'm not going to tell you if I think it's the best place to be, but it probably is the best shelter if that's what you think you need. You just walked out of it, so you're like 20, 25, 50 feet away.
I'm like,
Swiffer, get in here! Like, get in here!
I go and so I'm like,
I'll tell you about your curse later. I'll get it from Glum. I'll find out about it.
like, all right.
Does anyone else want to go in the gift shop?
I'll move closer to it, but I'm still watching what's happening.
Okay. Stedman?
I move farther away from it.
Okay, so
I'm
you're
about
about
this way.
So you're about here.
Okay.
Ember, where do you want to be?
I just stand there.
Cool. So let's say the gift shop is here, and this is Glumbardo, and Swiffer, and Jocko. And presumably Ricky and his girlfriend are in there too.
It's me, Ricky.
This is where Ember is.
What if he was my nephew? Like,
This is where
like, wrong answer. Like,
this is where Oprah, or not Oprah, sorry, Farrah, y'all names, and this is where Stedman is. Okay, so that's where you are when the animals come out. So the first ones to come out are 4 giant boars that are puzzled by what's happening as much as you are, but they each stalk out and surround the area where the fence has just been lifted up. So there are 2 coming from this way and 2 coming from this way if the circle is lifted up the fence that way. So they're both coming in this way.
Can I see the boars?
Yes, you can see the boars. Everyone roll for initiative.
Now, when you say they're big, are they mythologically big? Or are they
They're
just
not
really,
mythologically big. Let's say they're,
really big?
yeah, like think of like a sizable like boar that would not be fun. And they're the Adventerra creatures where they're like semi-human, semi-not.
7.
15.
17.
You didn't add initiative.
Oh,
You didn't have initiative.
I don't.
That's
It's
10.
just your dex.
Whoops. Oh, okay.
So I have 18.
Cool.
I have 10.
3.
Cool. And what's yours, Chris?
10.
Cool. And what's yours?
15.
Cool.
What am I gonna do?
Cool. Cool. So, just for context, you're probably about 25 feet away from the gift shop.
Okay.
And probably about 25 feet away from the boars. Ember, you're probably about 50 feet away from both.
Yeah.
Also. And Stedman, you're probably about 100 feet from these boars.
Okay.
And 100 feet from here. Cool. So, first up is Jocko. Jocko, do you want to do anything?
So wait, I'm in the gift shop. They're like, say that again where they are? They're just hanging out.
Yeah, so you're safe behind glass in the gift shop.
Oh, okay. So I don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything at all.
I don't do anything.
Good.
Punch Ricky again.
Yeah. This boar starts making a mad dash for Stedman. But he gets about this far. That's about 30 feet. And he's probably about 100 feet from you.
Whose turn is it?
It is Justin's turn.
Sure. Okay, so I have all my... I feel like this conversation happened before the fact. I have all my equipment, like...
I want to talk about that really quick. If you're going to be fighting, how much equipment do you have with you? And think about, honestly, like, getting up for the day thinking you were just going to get breakfast.
I would probably... that stuff.
Need your spoon, your fork.
I mean, how big is a light crossbow?
A crossbow is, yeah.
But a light one. Like, because I've seen little, like, hand ones. Like,
it's enough to do damage, so I think it's still, like, pretty solid.
pretty sizable.
But I will give that's probably something that could fit easily on a back, if it's just a thing you carry a lot.
I would probably have at least my daggers with me, but those aren't going to do much good. Let's see. I would probably have my entire Dungeoneer's pack with me because I know I'm going like to do something today, and I don't know what I'm going to need.
That makes sense. And everyone can be thinking about what they think they have with them.
How far? So, like, how many feet away from the boar that's like sort of approaching Stedman?
Okay, so if you're here, you're probably about 100 feet from it.
Okay, and there are two other boars that are closer.
Yeah, right here. And let's say you're about 25 feet from those.
So, I'm gonna climb up. I'm gonna go out of the gift shop and climb onto the roof.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty easily done. There's like a little maintenance ladder that you can get onto.
Yeah.
Glumbardo says, "What are you doing? Stop!"
It's like, it's okay, I have an idea.
Fair enough. Go with God, soldier. And that will probably take the entirety of your turn.
Yeah.
But it's one floor, so you're about 10 feet up.
Okay.
Cool. Next up is this boar and this boar. And this boar is just kind of sniffing around. Like, he knows that his friend is, like, running straight towards Stedman. But he's got his eyes more on this person right here, who is Ember. And this little piggy right here starts... They both kind of start heading towards Ember's direction. Cool. Allie.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
So how close is this one to me? Is it just running past me?
Yeah. It has its focus somewhere else, but it's probably about 15 feet away, and this one's about 25 feet.
Okay, I just watch. I don't do anything.
Okay, cool. Chris.
Okay.
Or Stedman.
I look at the bull running towards me, and I flash back to the ship sinking, and then I flash back to all the columns rising out of the ground, and I say, I picked the wrong week to quit smoking. And I pull out my longbow, and I shoot an arrow at this boar.
Cool. Can you roll D20?
7.
Yeah. What's plus what?
For what is it?
Is it
Dexterity.
Yeah, Dex.
3, 10.
Oh, that'll actually do it. Cool. Yeah, roll for damage. Is that a D8?
Yeah. 3 + 3 is 6.
Cool. Where do you want to hit him?
In the chest.
Cool. Yeah, you hit him and it sticks, and he's still running towards you, but like it's not going very fast, and he's like audibly in distress. So it's like, oh, cool.
Help me.
And then this little guy starts heading towards.
The market.
Yeah, starts heading towards Farrah a little bit, but not aiming to attack. And then Ember.
Yeah. Oops. Hold on. 1 second. 2 seconds. How close together are those 3?
It's probably 10 feet between all of them, so 30 feet total.
Oh my gosh, I keep opening the wrong page. The touchscreen on this is not the best touchscreen.
Does it need to be calibrated?
No, just
Calibrate, come on.
computer, calibrate. That's loading. And then, like, how close is this one?
That one is probably 25 feet from you,
Alright.
and he's been hit.
Well, I
with
know I'm gonna backpedal, like, my max 30 feet, which is probably, like,
Cool.
yay far, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna wait for this to load.
Cool.
And they look threatening, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot a firebolt. Probably this one right here.
Cool.
So that's 12,
Yeah, that'll do it.
and then it does 9 damage.
Yeah, that'll take that little guy out.
Nice.
So we've got 1 piggy out of market.
Jocko's kind of looking out the window as this is happening, and he's kind of like, what's happening to my park? Like, he's just like, kind of like, no.
Cool. And then we're back at the top with... Oh, no, actually, Glumbardo says, everyone, once again, run to the gift shop. This is where it's safe.
So,
Now it's Jocko.
okay.
Yeah, I still don't do anything, because I'm kind of just looking out the window. I'm just having a moment. Like, I'm just like, no. No.
Cool.
My babies.
Now it's Swiffer.
Okay, so in my explorer pack, I have 50 feet of hempen rope.
Great.
So I go ahead and I try to make that into a lasso, and I'm going to try and lasso one of the warthogs.
Okay, great.
Boards, I should say.
Roll for that, and yeah, try animal handling.
Animal handling, okay.
Nice.
That's 16.
That's nothing.
that will handle an animal. So describe how that happens.
So I'm up top, so just point out again to me where the closest board to me is.
So it'd be this guy, probably about 20 feet. Oh, let's say that you're at like this edge of the roof.
Yeah.
So let's say like it's 10 feet down and like 5 feet away. So like 15 feet that you're going for.
Okay, so like I probably already have it like in some sort of way where it's going to be like a knot that goes on something. So
Yeah.
just kind of take it like that. I want to put it around the boar's neck. I would be like, yes, I got it. But they're going to pull me super hard off of the roof. And I'm like, whoa.
And that's exactly how that happens. And I think you take 1 point of damage.
One falling damage?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. Like, you've got a good hold on
I'm
him.
like, whoa. But
And-
Ricky, do you
yeah.
think you could have done that? Like, he's a hero.
Like, Ricky just whispers like, where am I?
It's okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah, so even though he jerked you down, I think you've got a pretty good hold on this boy.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's where you want to end your turn.
Yeah.
I think that's what you got. Okay, then we've got these two boars moving. This boar has taken its sights off you because you seem far away and is going to make an attack on Farrah.
Is it my turn?
No, but
No.
I'll roll
Cool.
an attack for you.
You're like, I want to steal a boar. Like,
Cool. It rolled 7 against your AC, which I'm sure does not hit. You got 14. Yeah, no way. Then nothing happens.
Okay.
But
way.
if this one is 50 feet, this boar starts charging towards you and makes it about 40 feet. So it's about 10 feet away from you now.
So my turn.
No. No, it's not your turn. Now it's Allie's turn.
Okay, so where this is the boar that's
Yeah,
coming towards
and
me?
he's right by you. Like, he just missed an attack.
I want to hit it with my crowbar.
Cool. Roll.
And what is this, strength?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
oh no.
So 8 total.
No, that will not do it. So you try and you conk him on the head, but he's
He
just
eats
kind of
the
like,
crowbar.
yeah, he's just like, you mess with the wrong pig. Cool. Now Stedman.
Okay, this is one here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna fire an arrow at that one.
Cool.
16.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And 8.
Cool. Yeah, he is not looking good. He's still on all 4 feet, but he, he's like moving his mouth like, a little bit, and like blood's coming out a little bit too. Cool. The last is this boar, and he's going to try to buck you.
Oh boy.
And 11. How does that do?
My AC is 13.
Yeah, great. Then he tries to buck you, but you still got a tight hold on him. He doesn't break the rope or anything. Cool. Then we go on to Ember.
Ember hurls another mote of fire at the
Cool.
closest boar.
Roll.
That's 10
Uh,
to hit.
that does hit.
And it
That
does
barely hits.
5.
Yep, that'll do him. That bacon is burned. So now there are only 2 boars left. This one and this one. And Glumbardo says, Jesus Christ, do I have to go out here? He walks out 15 feet and says, come in the gift shop. It's safe here. And then runs back in.
Listen to the human man.
Back at the top to Jocko.
I just used my turn to go out and say, hey, you guys should listen to this guy. Come on in. It's safer in here. I'm gonna start crying. This is crazy. Come on in.
Then we move to Swiffer.
Okay, so am I atop the boar at this point?
If you want to be, yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
I'm
You're
like
all
basically trying to break the boar so it'll do what I say.
great.
Or it'll at least like listen to follow my commands like with the rope,
Cool.
using that as reins.
I think that's still animal handling.
All right.
So,
How I'm I want to get a good idea of what this looks like. So Swiffer is like 4'7", like 140 pounds.
Yeah, and that's actually the exact dimensions of the board. Too.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm like basically riding like something that is equal to myself.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mario riding Yoshi a little bit.
Okay, I like that. Oh.
Oh.
Do you add anything to it?
I don't.
Okay, literally.
Well, wait. Oh, wait. No, I don't.
Like that, it does not do it, but it was like so much closer than it should have been. So the boar thought about it. He's like, no, but neither of you tried anything enough to like hurt each other.
Okay.
Cool. Next up is this boar. He's going to try to attack again with his tusk into Farrah's side.
Good.
And that's a natural 20.
Oh.
Okay.
Good.
So I have 13 hit points.
Oh, good. He just gets a 3. So it's going to take you down 3. But he gets you kind of good in the side. I think there's some blood.
You roll crits twice, but
Oh.
dude, you do.
Oh,
you
it's
do
twice?
you.
Oh, do
Yeah,
twice.
it's twice, but modifiers once.
Oh,
So
cool.
You roll the damage and put all your
Awesome.
points on the modifier. But
Cool. Then,
Sorry.
take it
Sorry.
down another 3. I think that's
Oh,
right.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I forgot about that.
Kyle, how do you know the board it didn't just roll a 1? It had a modifier of 1.
So,
It happened. I was just reminding you.
I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Next up is Farrah. Go for it.
Just
Okay.
remember, you're bleeding right now.
Are they like visible through the gift shop window?
Yeah.
I make eye contact with Jocko and I say, "Save me."
Oh, I could do that. Oh wait, we'll have to wait till my turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I implant that
Like-
into your head.
I'll do my best. Like,
That's my turn.
Cool. I don't know why I'm looking at you like you're about to
Yeah,
say something like,
that's
okay,
not my turn.
Justin. Stedman, it's your turn.
Okay, fire an arrow at this one. 15.
That will do it.
8.
Yeah, he's really bad off too, and now he's looking at you. He starts staggering that way a little bit, but not fast. He's very bad for wear. Cool. This boar's going to go, and he's going to try to knock you off of him one more time. And he rolled a 1.
Oh, boy.
So I think you get to try again.
To break him?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you get an extra shot.
Okay, here I go. Now, being that I'm not like an animal expert, or my character isn't, but is there anything like I would, with the character's background, that I would know to do to help me break
I
the
got
board
all mine.
beforehand?
I'll say that, I think you know that if you use, a calming voice, you sense that it's a very, tense situation around you.
I know what I do. I want to pull 1 ration out of my explorer's pack, and I want to try to give it to the board to get it to like me.
Great. Yeah, do that. So you do that, and you offer him a ration.
Yeah. 13.
The boar looks at the ration and looks at you, and he takes 1 bite of the ration,
I know. I kind of shook his head.
and he takes another bite of the ration,
Yeah.
and then he, nods his head and, acquiesces to your power on him.
So I kind of get these makeshift rooms. I kind of go ride, and I want him to stand up on his hind legs, and
Yeah.
and then he takes off, and I kind of point him towards. Are the dimes all boars, or is there a boar that's not a dime?
The dimes are all boars, so you're on this one. But they're dead.
Okay.
So this is the only
really
one.
I should be like this.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I start dashing towards this boar.
Okay. Great. Ember, you want to do something?
Yeah, fire another fire bolt.
Yep. And this one you roll
Closest one.
disadvantage because Magic World.
Excellent. So it's 10.
That will hit.
It does 3.
Cool. And that takes that boar out. So the only boar left is the one that everyone wants there. And with that, it's Glumbardo's turn. He comes out and he says, "For the last time, get in the gift shop." And what you see are other animals walking past you. They've gone past you during the fight, and some of them are like bears of ginormous size that are half human, or lions that have like overtaken the orc family that you saw from before back there.
And, like, the first aid center.
like everyone around you is suffering and no one's getting respite. And Glumbardo says, "Get inside. This is your last opportunity, or else we're locking the doors. Get back in here."
Are we out of
Are we
initiative
still,
now?
are we still in
Yeah.
initiative?
Oh, you're out of initiative.
Okay.
So.
So I turn the board. And is this a boy boar or a girl boar?
You can ask him.
I don't have speak with animals. I'm not going to understand. I just check the old-fashioned way.
He is a boy.
He's a boy. I still name him Peaches.
like he likes it.
I say, "Okay, Peaches," and I turn him around and I bolt through the door and I kind of knock Glumbardo over. Like, not like I don't like trample him, but I definitely push him and maybe he like spins. And
Like
to,
spin.
to a
Whoa!
display case or something.
Perfect. Farrah, Stedman, Ember, what do you do?
Slowly walk to the gift shop.
Cool. Stedman, what do you do?
Same thing.
Cool.
I walk in and I say, "Mr. Jocko, we've decided not to endorse your part."
And Farrah, what would you like to do?
I also go into the gift shop.
And as you enter, you see Glumbardo locks the doors and says, "There, now nobody's getting in." To which you see Dana walk up to the door and say, "Mr. Jocko! Mr. Jocko, I just got some of the smoked salmon you like."
Oh no!
And the last thing you see before the session ends is a giant half-human, half-snake come and swallow Dana whole and keep moving along its merry way.
Oh my gosh. Let's just raise the stakes. Like,
Cool. And that's the end of our session. It's 9:59.
That was great.
yeah, I love that. That was I immediately like Big Jocko. Like,